way again now. We'll follow the baby. She said, get your steps in, guys. All right, let's follow the crew wherever they're wandering to. I'll kind of learn more about her crew. I'm gonna go find another stick.
I need another stick to go with my first stick to complete my stick collection.
Her mom just following behind. Come on, dummy. Let's go find a stick.
Mom, come on, help me find a stick.
There's sticks everywhere. Just pick one.
Pick a stick.
I mean, Max is here. Gets to play right now. We have boys here for the boat together. But currently I'm working together. Awesome. You guys can come over here. I've seen her before. I will see her again later. Yeah. Honestly, it could be a little bit of smelling. Could be just trying to communicate with each other. Could be they're like kind of picking up things on the ground. They're very communicative with that trunk. And so sometimes when they're trying to be like, oh, I'm bigger and I'm stronger than you, they'll lift their trunk up, they'll push their ears out, basically showing off how large they can be. And so for her, it could have been, hey, I'm just lifting my trunk, lifting my ears. They also will cool themselves down by either flapping their ears or extending them to the wind. So we'll see some of that at times. Although it's not super hot out by Florida standards like yesterday and today, which I'm not mad about. It's pretty nice weather for us in June, so like please, if you're not from here, appreciate this. This is not normal Florida weather in the summer, so nice to yeah, the other way. We're like here. But anyway, go back to Nadira. When they get out, they would be able to reach like that. Babies can be anywhere from like 200 to 300 pounds. Donna was about 150. And so they sort of proactively either purchased or bought a square with a 60 inch off the ground, a really heavy duty plastic. And they trained moms to be comfortable with it in her area. So they would like put it in a yard, put her in there, and be like, all right, deal with it. We're going to put a lot of treats around it. So you're hopefully not scared of it, and we'll learn that it's okay to be around it. And then they also train her to station, which stationing is kind of like if you have pets at home, and maybe they have a certain spot that they sit in, that is their station. Whether you knew you were training that or not. I have 2 cats. Since they were kittens, they essentially assigned themselves their station. I was like, all right, they're 4 now. They know where to station, which is great. So basically when baby was trying to figure out how to nurse, we would tell mom, hey, go stand by that weird plastic thing. She knew to go stand by it. Explored very quickly learned, hey, if I stand on this, I get taller, and she was able to nurse. And I'll tell you, within 2 weeks of her life, she said, I don't need that stinking thing anymore. That's how I knew she was doing with my baby. She literally learned and taught herself to essentially stand up on her back feet, crawl up mom's front leg like a little meerkat, and then nurse from there. I will tell you, Nadira said, ooh, reverse, that's really annoying, tiny child. And so whenever she would try to climb, she would literally start dropping her leg out, stretching it out, so that way the memory got lower, so she could nurse. So yeah, it is something we saw. We're like, why didn't we think of that, Nadira? You are smarter than us. So now we have trained it into Luna, who is over bothering her sister now. Luna is the one on the right-hand side, and then Kianga, who is Nadira's half-sister on their dad's side. Because they are moving forward, our next hopeful moms. Disney is part of something called the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, the AZA for short. Basically, the best way I can describe it is like think of a Michelin star restaurant. You know that going into that someone has done for that, is that they are like the best ingredients, most beautiful ambiance, the nicest meal we'll ever have, right? That is your top of the line restaurant. AZA is basically like that. You look into your animal care and welfare, your conservation work, and your education. It is really tough to get it. Unfortunately for us, we have 2 on Disney property. We have Animal Kingdom / Animal Kingdom Lodge, and then Seas with Nemo over at Epcot, which is really cool. In fact, Seas over there is actually one of the largest aquariums in North America. We were the largest in the Georgia Aquarium, which yeah, if you've never been there, it's a really great aquarium. Definitely go visit it. But yeah, they beat us by a lot. They have manta rays, so that makes sense. But it is really cool. We just got reaccredited for Animal Kingdom / Animal Kingdom Lodge this past year, and we did a clean inspection, which is basically unheard of, which was very, very impressive. I don't think we have talked about it enough, but our teams are like, oh my gosh, listen to this. It's very exciting. Being part of that is what we call a species survival plan, and basically it's like Match.com but for zoo animals. And so in between being in charge, this is the matriarch of the herd. You can like, yeah, she's like, hello, is there food? She's probably a little anticipatory because where Cora was hanging out, or is kind of still hanging out, that big box there is a time release feeder. And I don't know if you guys know, but animals know how to tell time. You have pets at home, you're aware of that. And so they have figured out that every half hour they know exactly when it is, and she's waiting for that heat to drop out of there.
That is so funny.
It's really amazing just how perceptive they are and how quickly she's been aware. So she is literally angling herself near it. One of two things may happen. She might share with Cora, although Cora is getting so big that she's not as willing to share as she used to be.
Or
Cora,
she'll pop her with
sit
her.
here and scoop it up and carry it away. This is permanent hay, probably from the 930 drop that she's snacking on right now. But I was not shocked to see her come over because she is very like, this is mine, you can't have this one, which I think is super silly because there's like 4 or 5 of them out here. There's enough for everyone. But anyway, so back to the SSB, there is an individual who is in charge of that, SSB, that recommendation group there. And then the ones, luckily for Nadira, she was able to breed with Mac. We have our kiddo here. They have sent Kianga on dates. Nothing is ever taken, unfortunately. So I'm not certain. Mac is, when I say the love, getting a little bit older. So he's half of the elephant world here. And so for him, I don't know if he's still actively going on dates with her. He's an old man. But that all said, Stella's quick point there. She's like, hello, must be this way. She's like, I'm the queen here.
She's like, I'm just wandering in this direction for no particular reason. There's nothing over here.
Definitely not for the hand that just dropped. I am curious to know if she's gonna let her share.
Oh God, no.
She's like, I'm gonna creep up here, find out. It's always funny to see how the dynamics of elephants develop as time goes on. They're very social creatures. They're definitely very matriarchal. So like Donna, if like Nadira had been over there, Donna would immediately chase her off. Although I will say the girls over here are all sharing theirs, which is fun. Although, oh no, did you chase her away?
No, she just went away.
Oh,
They were eating together.
Yep, I told you. She said, whoever is kid, this is mine. Yeah, thanks for that.
Oh, literally
Remember when I
hanging
told
it
you
off
she
your
was the
tusk.
matriarch? She's just proving it real fast here. It's sort of like if you go and like eat with like children and they try to steal your fries and you go, I'm taller than you, no. Yeah,
That is
this is basically the elephant version of that. She said, yeah, remember I said it was reverse? Here you go.
Della.
Yeah.
Oh, look,
my
tantrum.
goodness. Did Grandma steal all your food? Don't worry, there's still enough. Are you going to chase it? Where are you going? She's like, hold on, what do you mean the food is gone?
That looked really tasty.
Sorry, yeah, she'll go, she will. She's like the lover back in the cage. Oh my god.
Meemaw.
Yeah, I told you she's getting to that point where she's like, no, you're old enough, kid, go find your way. She's like slowly creeping up on her too, which is rude. She's like, oh, nope, I'll eat this over here, don't worry. Now, I will tell you, there's probably a lot of vocalizations going on. In fact, when we saw Nadira and Cora coming this way, I don't think that Stella was kind of in the center. She said, I don't know what's happening, but I'm at it. She like quickly turned around for our ears to pick up. Called episodic or subphonic sound. So for us, we're very lucky that when we hear elephants, is that trumpet there is usually some sort of elephant drama. So whether they are vocalizing out of fear, out of frustration, out of anger, out of, hey, someone's annoyed mom. If by chance Nadira had been there or Luna had been there at the hay and they tried to take it away from mom, we probably would have heard a trumpet if they hadn't stepped off. Because they know that mom is in charge. If they're not listening to mom, well, guess what? Mom's not very happy with you. There she is showing off just how high they can push that hay bag over here. Pretty impressive. And what's really cool, that palm tree that is attached to you, by the way, I'm going to say with love, that is a Disney real palm tree. But you would never guess just by looking at it. It's talented. If you look at actual palm trees, they are blowing in the wind. But just that palm tree over there, it is very still. But it is so well done that you probably wouldn't have thought twice about it. But if you were to see kind of at the bottom, you'll see a little silver like flash there. It's actually a winch system. It's like higher or lower, kind of depending on whoever is out in the yard. If this guy is out here, it's going to be on as high as high because it's going to be really high. Now, for our elephants here, we have done local studies in the past. We have local authority college in we head down that way, all that way. And again, we take 4 baby wanders around. We don't want to see baby. But we use local reporting collars here in zoos because we can train them to take this and put it around their neck and be okay with us tightening it. If you were to go over to Africa, that is not something you would try over there. Understandably, right? Hello, Mr. Elephant, who I do not know what Mr. Elephant is, but it's not even. Sounds like a death wish, right? So they use a lot of scientific signals to be able to kind of figure out what's going on. Alright, well, Cole's not coming. Let's go down to the other one a little bit. Something's coming in soon, so my guess is probably taking it back the next couple of weeks to months. But that sort of there, they actually have the lab wrapped around them, kind of like you'll see them over by the water right now. And they are a visual barrier for any animals sort of going out on the savanna over here. As you guys probably noticed, there's a very sharp drop off on the wall. It's that 10 foot drop there. We don't want a baby giraffe out here learning, or maybe anything, right, or even a new animal. Kind of learning, wildebeest to spook a giraffe, and then all of a sudden they're in the elephant habitat. Probably not a good idea. And so we use a lot of lots of the water looking things you'll see here. They have a slight electric charge, but it's not enough to like really stop an animal. It is basically the equivalent of a static shock. And so for them, if they're to bump into it, like it's basically like a, hey, you remember where you are? Look around your surroundings, so you can see, oh, there's this big drop off here. Or in the elephant's case, there's a big dry moat between us and you, and a really sharp incline. You don't want to go down there. Trust us. And so if they were to bump into it, they would just go, oh, this is happening, I can step back. Babies don't quite get that far, or they may not pay attention to it, right? So we're showing them, hey, this is where you can go, this is where you can't go, and they eventually learn, which is really cool. And then once the keepers realize, hey, you are respecting your boundaries, we can pull that down. So it's tough to see that out there, but it is exciting to see that out there. We use a lot of natural barriers here at Disney. Back when we first opened in 1999, they had these very funny commercials on TV, in 98, sorry, not 99. They had commercials where they were saying, oh, Animal Kingdom is all these things, but there's one thing there's not, and they would shout, not a zoo at the TV. As you guys have learned, we are a zoo. We're an accredited zoo. We have been accredited since we opened. And what's really cool is if you think of like zoos in the 90s, they did not look like this. A lot of zoos tend to look like this now because they just what Animal Kingdom was doing. I said, we can do that. And the really cool thing about the zoological field in general is that we don't give people out information. We're like, hey, here's what's worked for us, and they share it. Conferences, Facebook groups, chats, emails, all sorts of stuff. They're always happy to share that information, which I think is really nice because there are a lot of lines of business where you're like, hey, we have this new technology, and they're like, all right, I'll teach you. They got to pay me a lot of money, or hey, I'll sell it to you, right? So it is cool that like, hey, if we've learned this new innovative thing, that hey, we can show you how to do it. It's really great. But yeah, it is very different than what zoos used to look like back when I was growing up. And it's really cool. And we knew that we wanted to be kind of an open air habitat now, so a lot of natural barriers, dry moats, things like that are really great to do. One really cool thing about the elephant habitat is, because remember I told you we are trying to make you feel like you are in Africa, is that we want to give them shade, but we don't want to put like the traditional zoo and put like a bunch of awnings and stuff up. Our Imagineers hated that idea, to be quite honest, probably still would if we tried that. So we've actually done these little rock rings here with trees in there. That is a form of food. They can eat anything in there if so they choose, but they cannot physically get in there to knock the trees down. Elephants are really good at terraforming, aka changing what the landscape looks like, and they can knock every single one of those trees down if they have access to it. We don't want that to happen. So they ultimately decided that, hey, we are going to put these little rock rings around them. They are basically elephant-sized boulders. I can't imagine when we put those in place. But it is going to allow them. It's really funny because sometimes walking around and like someone will catch their eyes, like look for something, because all of a sudden you see them like reach inside the rock ring and like pull something out. And lots I wanted to talk to you about before we head out of here. Here's something pretty cool. We can use that to help them to their advantage. Because I don't know if you guys know this, elephants don't know what fences are. Yeah, they see a fence like this and there's a farm on the other side, they're like, I can knock that over, I can kick it over, I can tear it apart. They're really strong. If you're a farmer, are you super stoked to see elephants in your backyard? Absolutely not. They say for 1 hour that an elephant herd is grazing in your area, in your farm, it's about a month's worth of pay, which is not fun. Yeah, imagine paying your bills that way, right? That would suck. And so Dr. Lucy King said I was literally in a bush camp and I had this idea, it popped into my brain, why don't we use bees to help elephants stay protected from farmlands? And so that's actually what this weird little box in a wire is. It's a chunk of beehive fence. I think of like chunk of fence. Okay. Around a farm, they say anywhere from like 2 to 5 acres is most effective. Smaller farms, because you can't put a bajillion bees around bigger farms. But what they have is hives on them. Some are real, some are empty. But as elephants come on over, they're going to investigate, right? They're going to shake things, they're going to knock that box. And if you've ever disrupted a beehive before, are they super excited if you've changed your world? No, you find out the hard way, right? You get stung. And so elephants, they are in the pachyderm family. Pachyderm just means 6 skins. I think of elephants, rhinos, hippos kind of all fall into that category. But around their face, their eyes, their ears, inside their trunk is a thin skin. Now, trunk is super important. We've been watching it today. They've done a lot with it there. Still showing some of that off for you. If they get stung inside that trunk, if it swells up, they could struggle to breathe, struggle to get food, water, interact with each other. Really, really important. So for them, they have learned over many, many, many generations, we stay away from the things that are black and yellow and robust, which sounds kind of crazy. But when they run into bees here, they are going to speed walk away because, fun fact, elephants cannot physically run. So we can all run an elephant here. You are so tall. You can do it. I believe in you. Sorry, she's trying to reach. Oh, don't come and push her off the hay. That's rude. So I said noted. Oh, you were so tall. You would have gotten that. I believe in you. Yeah.
Just like,
show off.
don't embarrass me in front of my friends.
Oh my goodness. Anybody have any sisters here? This feels really relatable.
Yeah.
You can't reach. Ha, I can do it.
It's like, that's fine. I'll see what's on the ground.
I usually
Yeah,
get this by
yeah,
request.
yeah.
She's like, hey, that's up high.
From the
Can you
ground
get
is
it?
nowhere near as good a taste in the back.
No, that's not right. That's like whenever you get a bag of grapes. Like, ew, bag of grapes? Ew, I want the ones in the bag still.
It's like those over there. It's like there's all that hay on the ground, but once that one comes out, like,
Yeah,
no,
you're like,
that's
better.
That's
I
the
know.
better hay. Although it's like all from the same bale.
Yeah, that's, oh my god. She get rude. Aw, Stell, you could have reached. I believe in you. It was really cute to watch, though.
I didn't want that anyway.
And so, anyway, they surround farmland. Not all of them have actual bees in it, but they're close enough to one that does. Other bees from other hives will come out. The elephant's going to speed walk away. They're going to vocalize a specific call that is only ever heard when bees are present. So basically, it's the elephant version of, hey, I found bees, everyone, let's get out of here. And then, do you have a little baby coming this way? Or she calls me
No.
home?
No, there is somebody right there.
Someone coming. We'll head that way here in a minute. Let's head out. And then they're actually going to shake their head trying to get any potential bees that are in that region off so they don't get stung. And so it is really effective. It's about 80% successful, which is a really high statistic, all things considered. And what's really cool is even Dr. King is very, very proud of this. They're very excited that they'll beat again. They ultimately recognize that it is one of many potential solutions. And so she's actually worked with other conservation groups to create a toolkit for training for other villages, 80 different projects that could potentially help them out. And they're actually trying to bring people to them to train them. In fact, Disney last year we gave them an extra $10,000. And they said we were able to host, I think it was like 10 individuals from different areas to be the leaders in their villages and take that information and learn. So it was literally food, lodging, training, all the materials they need for that, all the transportation. So really, really cool to get them into their area so they can actually learn about that. Because I don't know if you guys know this, not everyone knows how to take care of the honey. How do you get it out of the hive? How do you do that? So lots of training with that. Could be training for other programs as well. But they were able to do that, which is really cool because a lot of conservation is like, great, cool, we can come in, we can teach you things, but it's way better if you know, so I'm laughing at her hay face, if you know what's going on in your world and learn how to kind of come back out. We can give you the tools, but ultimately at the end of the day, we want you guys to be the ones responsible. And so it's really nice because instead of, and I say this with love and from a place of privilege, instead of that, you know, good old white savior complex, we're going to come over and fix everything for you, they're trying to have folks come in and learn how to run it themselves. One of my favorites, and then we have elephants, great gorillas over in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Yeah, we can teach you all this stuff, but at the end of the day, they're now the ones running it over there. It's going to give them jobs, give them ownership, and it's really cool. It's one that Disney's partnered with a lot as well. And if you go to explore.org, they actually have a live cam of their gorillas, which is really sweet. And then my favorite thing is they take an orphan gorillas and raise them and basically put them in a troop to learn how to you know, be a troop. And just last year, they were able to release 2 females into a wild herd troop, not herd. And they're doing really, really well. So it was really, really cool, very emotional. I like to say Disney has a lot of money, but we do a lot of good with it, which is nice to know. All right, friends, while she is right, oh my god, you cannot reach, baby girl. Nice try.
Oh,
Nice try.
Oh, you sneaky little thing.
Yeah, she's waiting for it. She's like,
She said, I know where you're going to put that
I
hay.
will tell you, sometimes when it's empty, she can like get the last stretches of it, but she has to put her feet on this little rock ledge here and reach up for it. I like that she was literally waiting for mom.
She put her
She
in
said,
her in mom's
I'm gonna
mouth.
steal the food from you, mom. You gonna steal again? Children. She's like, wait, I can grab some. While they're right here, Princess, anybody like a photo with them in the background? If so, I'm gonna steal it from a corner over here. Absolutely.
you don't want to get, okay.
I had the feeling this had something to do with bugs.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I was like, I do not like the look of that.